class? Can I get an amen? You can say amen or amen, whichever one you prefer, but make sure you say it with me. Can I get an amen? Great. Now, can I get a hallelujah? You guessed it. It's time for the show with no name. Get ready for lift off, baby. Here we go. 6, 4, 3, 2. Come on.
1.
Come on, come on, come on.
Ignition.
We got this.
Liftoff.
Here we go. Here we go.
Get ready. Hold on to your hats. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hats. Get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no name time. On Vaughn Radio. It's the show with no name. It's the show. Let's go.
All right, amigos, welcome. Welcome to the show with no name here on Vaughn Radio. I hope you guys had a good time this morning in class with my buddy Fitz and his hour of power. Not to be confused with the hour to empower with Jessica Fernandez on the weekends. No, I'm talking about the hour of power that is no excuses. It is a 1-hour master class with my buddy Fitz, and you can learn the ins and outs of the English language. All you have to do is tune in every day at 9:30 a.m. on the Vaughn Radio app, and you will learn the language inside and out thanks to Fitz and his amazing students. And many of you already know this, but Fitz trained me. Me formó a mí. I'm serious. So if you like the way I teach, talk to him. I mean, he had a profound influence on me as a teacher. He's a friend and a role model. I look up to him. No, admirar is to look up to. And you guys can have an hour of class every day with Fitz here on the show, not on the show with no name, on Vaughn Radio right before the show with no name. So don't miss it, amigos. And speaking of other things that you shouldn't miss, don't forget, now it is literally less than a week away. Hello. It's Alberto Alonso from the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. And I've got some great news for you. We've got an awesome event coming up. It is Vaughn Radio Trivia Night, but with a cherry on top. Con una guinda. We're also celebrating 16 seasons of the show with no name. And it's all happening on October 2nd at 8 p.m. at Roll Madrid. Join me for a Vaughn Radio Trivia Night and a celebration of 16 years on the air. Thanks to you. See you there. Yes, that applause is for you, show with no namers. Thank you, thank you, thank you for making this show stand the test of time. You say perdurar, to stand the test of time. Remember, stand is an irregular verb. Let's see if you know it. Every day I stand up. Me pongo de pie. And that's a very rich word, by the way. Every day I stand up. Yesterday, I stood up. Lately, I've stood up. So stand, stood, and it's not only ponerse de pie. In fact, I just made a little note here to myself that if I haven't put it on my list, and what list am I talking about? I'm talking about the list of essential verbs that I'm covering now on FYI. This week, we're going to get to know no. Well, not no. I mean, no, conocer. So if you want to check it out, you've got a brand new episode every Friday, although I just shared the link here in the group. So if you've got access to that link, well, you can download the show a day early. So there you go. That's a little bonus for our amigos here, our show with no namers, who are also FYIers. So if you want to be in the know about this very useful word, this very useful verb, well, then all you have to do is download the latest episode of For Your Ingles. Remember, you can get that podcast wherever you get your Vaughn podcasts. That's iVox, that's Apple Podcasts, and all the rest. All right, amigos. Well, as you heard, the trivia night is right around the corner. I hope you guys are going to be there with us because I know you guys love a good challenge and a good time. And speaking of a good challenge, let's kick off with our pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. All right, folks. Welcome to our pop quiz. The pop quiz is a part of the show where we listen to one of the amazing materials you can find at Vaughn Tienda. Remember, I've got 5 books of my own there, but there are so many other books worth checking out. Books such as Speak English B2. Now, Speak English B2 or B2, whatever you want to call it in English or in Spanish. This is just one of the many materials that can help you enriquecer, enrich your English. Does it come with audio? Yes, it does. We're going to listen to some of that right now. So here, what you'll find is all kinds of things. It's tips and tricks from common mistakes to vocabulary things to pronunciation things. You'll find the gamut, as we say. It's called Speak English B2, and you can pick it up over at Vaughn Tienda. It's vaughntienda.com, and you can find everything you need there for self-study. And also, if you're looking for courses, don't forget we've got everything from master's courses to one-to-one courses to courses for the kids. And if you want more information, well, ¿quieres estar al tanto de todas nuestras promociones en la Vaughan Esfera? Well, now you can be in the loop. Puedes estar al tanto. Puedes enterarte de ofertas, novedades y eventos. Y mucho más. Puedes encontrar todo eso en grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. Eso es, en grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. Ahí tendrás toda la información de última hora. Guárdalo como favorito. grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. And stay in the loop. That's right, folks. grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. That's for courses. And if you're looking for materials, it's vaughntienda.com. All right, well, let's listen to this audio from Speak English B2. And as always, I'll have a challenge or two for you afterwards.
24. Grammar. In spite of and despite. In spite of the fact that and despite of the fact that.
A pesar de la lluvia, pasamos un día estupendo.
In spite of the rain, we had a great day.
Continuaron con el espectáculo a pesar de los problemas técnicos.
They carried on with the show despite the technical issues.
Él consiguió terminar la carrera a pesar de su lesión.
He managed to finish the race in spite of his injury.
A pesar de todo lo que ha pasado, todavía estoy aquí.
In spite of everything that's happened, I'm still here.
Vamos a ir de picnic mañana, a pesar del mal tiempo.
We're going on a picnic tomorrow, despite the bad weather.
Dormí bien a pesar del ruido.
I slept well in spite of the noise.
Compramos la casa a pesar del alto precio.
We bought the house despite the high price.
Ella es muy respetada a pesar de ser joven.
She's well respected in spite of being young.
Él no gana mucho dinero a pesar de trabajar muchas horas.
He doesn't earn a lot of money despite working long hours.
Se enamoraron a pesar de la diferencia de edad.
They fell in love in spite of their age difference.
Ella corrió la maratón a pesar de las advertencias del médico.
She ran the marathon despite the doctor's warnings.
Soy muy feliz a pesar de mi enfermedad.
I'm very happy despite my illness.
A pesar de que estaba lloviendo, pasamos un día estupendo.
In spite of the fact that it was raining, we had a great day.
A pesar de que llegamos allí 2 horas antes, tuvimos que hacer cola.
Despite the fact that we got there 2 hours early, we had to queue.
A pesar de que habla despacio, no le entiendo.
In spite of the fact that he speaks slowly, I don't understand him.
A pesar de que está lloviendo, vamos a jugar el partido.
Despite the fact that it's raining, we're going to play the match.
A pesar de que los impuestos han subido, los servicios públicos son peores.
In spite of the fact that taxes have gone up, public services are worse.
A ella se le olvidó a pesar de que se lo había recordado varias veces.
She forgot about it despite the fact that I had reminded her several times.
Cerraron la fábrica a pesar de que mucha gente había protestado.
They closed the factory despite the fact that many people had protested.
Él está enamorado de ella, a pesar de que ella es mucho mayor.
He's in love with her in spite of the fact that she's a lot older. Test yourself.
Fuimos a ver la película a pesar de la cola larga.
We went to see the film in spite of the long queue.
Él rechazó el dinero a pesar de que estaba en una situación desesperada.
He refused the money in spite of the fact that he was in a desperate situation.
Jugaron fuera a pesar de que estaba nevando.
They played outside in spite of the fact that it was snowing.
Construyeron el aeropuerto a pesar de las protestas.
They built the airport in spite of the protests.
Hicimos senderismo a pesar del calor.
We went hiking in spite of the heat.
Ella nunca viene a visitarnos a pesar de vivir en la misma calle.
She never comes to visit us in spite of living on the same street.
Él salió a pesar de tener un examen al día siguiente.
He went out in spite of having an exam the next day.
All right, there we go, folks. That's a really confusing structure. I've seen students mix it up left and right. So we're going to do a little mix up here today. I want you to use both of those. As you heard, there are 2 different ways that we can use a pesar de. Okay, we've got 2 structures, but we can't mix those structures. And that's where the mistakes usually come in. The mistakes come in when I see students take part of one and part of another, and they make a hybrid. We're not looking for hybrids here. We've got to stick to the script. Aferrarnos, you say? Aferrarnos al guión. We've got to stick to the script. So I thought we could double up here. And I want 3 examples. As always, we usually look at 3 different structures, 3 different vocabulary words or idioms. And today I figured we could mix a pesar de. So all 3 of the examples I want you to give me should use a pesar de. I want to see if you can use it correctly. However, I'm going to give you the conditions. And today, those conditions are going to be natural disasters. Hey, why not? A way to practice different vocabulary. And one of these words we looked at pretty recently. So, sería, a pesar de este desastre natural, hicimos tal. Se reconstruyeron. You can make up your own condition. What I want is a pesar de, and then I want you to use number 1. And I forgot. I want to make sure I know the word in Spanish. La sequía, eso es. So, a pesar de la sequía, you can make up the rest. I want to see if you know the word sequía. All right? Like I said, we're mixing a couple things here. So we're taking a pesar de that we just heard in Speak English B2, and we're mixing it with natural disaster. So a pesar de la sequía, and ... You can fill in the blank there. The next one, this is one, sequía we haven't looked at recently, but hambruna, we have looked at. We looked at that, I don't remember when, maybe this week or last week. So the second one is a pesar de la hambruna. A pesar de la hambruna. Is that the word? O me lo estoy inventando, me suena. Sometimes, yeah. Okay, a shortage, escasez de comida. All right, and this one we also looked at. So technically, the only one we didn't look at, the only natural disaster we didn't look at recently is the first one. This one is derrumbe, desprendimiento, corrimiento. Okay, we also said the other day it's goleada, ganar por goleada, to just beat somebody, but where it wasn't even a close competition at all. All right, so there you go. A pesar de. Do you know how to use this structure? There are two acceptable ways to use it, two correct ways to use it. I want to see if you guys know those correct ways to use it. And if you can, and if you know these words, let's take a look at them. The first one, a pesar de la sequía, a pesar de la hambruna, o a pesar que ha habido una hambruna. You know, you can play with it. What I want to see if you know these words and the a pesar de. And the last one, a pesar del derrumbe, el desprendimiento, lo que sea. You can make up the conditions here. This is where you can apply your creativity. All right, amigos, that's your pop quiz for today. We're looking at a pesar de. And we're looking at sequía, hambruna, and desprendimiento. All right, amigos, two of those should be fairly recent. I mean, at least in your mind, because if you are a regular watcher or a regular listener of this show, then again, this is pretty recent stuff we looked at. So it's always good. It's a great way to review as well. You know, it's always good when something comes up that we looked at recently, because that's what we call reviewing, going over it, right? Also, folks, we've got our question of the week. Today is the last day. If you'd like to participate in our question of the week, you can still do so. I want to know what your favorite corner of your house is, your favorite nook of your house, and why. Maybe you don't have one, but you have to defend your answer either way. You can send me a 1-minute voice message, and you can send it to alonso@grupovon.com. And you have until the end of today. And I've got to say something. Give it up for the ladies. Guys, Cat got your tongue? Except David. David participated, the only one. The rest, for the last couple weeks, it's been just the ladies. Hey, guys, I call it like I see it. Lo pito como lo veo. And that's exactly what's happening. So I'm curious about this phenomenon. Are you guys, are you not confident with the way you speak? Or, because I know we have guys who listen to the show. But why is this phenomenon? I'm honestly, it's curious. It's mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling. Me hace pensar muchísimo. Why are all the participants, or 99.9% of the participants, I'm not complaining. I love the female voice, guys. Just curious here. Why none of the fellas participate? Is it because you're not confident? Is it because maybe I can help you, is what I'm saying. I'm not even trying to rub it in your face here. I'm just curious. Well, either way, kudos to the ladies. Not only have they been participating, but they've been doing a wonderful job as well, improving their speaking. So, guys, whenever you want to join us, we'll be doing Question of the Week every Friday. And again, I don't want to include, because this week, David has participated along with Cristina in Chicago, who always participates, Elena as well, Gloria, Laura, Chris Valrol. So we'll be hearing from a lot of students tomorrow on our Question of the Week. So I'd love to hear from you. Whatever's holding you back, frenándote, algo que te detiene, something that's, como dices, hold back. Este es un buen phrasal verb here. Let's see. Whatever's holding you back, contener, sujetar, reprimir, right? Whatever's holding you back, guys, let it out. Don't be afraid. No one is going to laugh at you. No one is going to make fun of you. In the real world, if they do, you don't need to be talking to that person. That's what I always say. Well, what if somebody laughs at me? Then don't talk to that person. It's not a good person. A good person never laughs at another person who's trying to communicate. Okay, it might be funny that you use the wrong word, but that's an anecdote. That turns into a funny little joke. But here in this class, I can guarantee the only thing you're going to receive is support and guidance. No one's going to laugh at you guys. So, fellas, come on. Let's see what you got. The ladies have already proved themselves week after week. All right, let's see. We're going to go on over here to our chat room. We've got a lot of students joining us who are ready, who are eager. Eager es con muchas ganas. They are eager to learn English and to play and to have fun with us. Let's see. Jesus in the house. What's up, Jesus? Great to have you on board. And Jesus says, morning, double A. He says, in spite of the drought grass, in spite of the drought, grass is growing up quite green. All right. Well, the only thing I would do there is add a comma. Como has visto la coma esa? Because I thought it was drought grass. So I thought it was hierba, césped de la sequía. So in spite of the drought, comma, grass is growing quite green. Yeah, grow up. Cuidado con esta. Es un error muy común, Jesus, and I'm glad that that you made that mistake because we can correct it there. I remember this when I was in Rome. I was in the Colosseum, and we were doing a tour. And the guy kept he kept saying, Rome grew up very quickly. Rome grew up and the city grew up. And I'm like, no, to grow up is like educar, criar, to grow. Crecer a secas is to grow, no? Incrementarse. So it's a common, because claro, el up, nos encanta meter un up ahí cuando sea. Call me up. Yeah, you can say call me up or call me. So in spite of the drought, grass is growing quite green. Great job, Jesus. The next one. In spite of the starvation, I managed to grab an hamburger. Hang on a second. A hamburger, right? Porque el artículo sería a. So, in spite of the starvation, I managed to grab a hamburger. All right. We're just missing one there, I think. If I'm not mistaken, that's two. So, la que no sabías, Jesus, es la de, ¿cómo se dice? Derrumbe, desprendimiento. O no lo sabías o no lo pusiste. All right. Well, good job. Just a couple things. Add your comma over there. Como viste, las comas salvan vidas. ¿No has visto ese meme? We say meme. Let's eat grandma. Let's eat grandma. O sea, commas save lives. Las comas salvan vidas. Let's eat grandma. Es vamos a comerle a la abuela. Let's eat grandma con coma. Es vamos a comer, abuela. You never thought that a comma could save a life. All right, well, I see we've got so many people, but we've got to take a quick commercial break, my amigos. When we come back, we'll take a look at the rest of your answers. We're looking at a pesar de. We're looking at natural disasters. Also, remember, that third one means ganar por goleada también. We looked at it pretty recently. When we come back, my amigos, we've got our Say What soundbite. We'll check the rest of the answers of our pop quiz. We've got our spelling bee, we've got movies, we've got homophones, double trouble, music, and so much to do here on our daily English extravaganza called The Show with No Name. Thank you so much for being here, folks, and we'll be right back with tons more. So, stick around. Hey, Show with No Namers, welcome back. Welcome back to The Show with No Name. This is part two. Part two. I can't believe it. Time flies when you're having fun. And don't forget, you can have fun with us all day long here with amazing programs such as The Pro Bow Show with Rob Grams. You can tune in every morning and start your day off with some pep. Pep is energy. That's right. At the end of the day, you can have a cocktail with our friend Chris Frank in his program, Frankly Speaking. You've got Kyle Miller for the drive home for that commute. In drive time, he'll give you tons of challenges to make the time on your commute fly by. You've also got Dave Boys and the Salad. You've got Let's Get Random with Jules Linares. You've got Speak Up with Ruby. Don't forget about Richard Vaughn Live, the man with the plan, the man who started it all, my great friend, Richard Vaughn. And you've got Rob and Andy, also great friends of mine. Rob and Andy, you can have lunch with them every day on the Lunchtime Show. And have I left any out? Oh yeah, my friend Jimena, right after this show.
Jimena will test your English. Yes, she'll test your English. Jimena will test your English with Nacho. Wow. That's right, Test Your English is on Vaughn Radio every day at 12:30 with Jimena and Nacho.
Don't miss it right after this show. All you have to do is stay tuned on the Vaughn Radio app and you are in for a treat. Os espera algo especial. All right, well, folks, you ready for another section? It's time for the Say What soundbite. Say what? What? Yes, it's the Say What soundbite here on Vaughn Radio on the Show with No Name. And this is where we hear from famous people speaking English. And sometimes they're native speakers, sometimes they aren't. What does that mean? Everybody's got to use English, especially if you work internationally, like a celebrity. All right, I know you have local celebrities here, like Broncano or Pablo Motos, these guys. Nobody knows them in the United States, obviously, right? So those are more local celebrities. They don't really need to know English. I mean, it helps. But, if you're Will Smith, then it helps to know another language. And he does speak Spanish, by the way. So if you're international, an athlete, deportista, then you know the need for languages, right? If you're a local celebrity, yeah, I guess it helps, but you can get by without it if you're only entertaining Spanish people. Everybody knows their audience, of course. All right, well, my amigos, here's your Say What soundbite. As always, you are going to hear this soundbite 4 times, and we'll see how you guys do. Here's your Say What soundbite for the first time.
I see people getting totally carried away with their fame, and it's fleeting. And I remember being on stage, the fans are going crazy, and I remember thinking to myself, tomorrow night it'll be someone else. And I always had that in the back of my mind.
All right, there you go, folks. Very nice voice, sweet voice, I would say. But I'm more interested in what you have to say about this person's voice. All right, and not just their voice, but I want to know the gist of what they're saying, the main idea. And hopefully you'll be able to get it all. I think, though, today you shouldn't have too much difficulty. This person speaks very clearly. They don't rush, right? No van con prisa. So I really think everybody should be able to at least come close today. All right, here's your Say What soundbite for the second time.
I see people getting totally carried away with their fame, and it's fleeting. And I remember being on stage, the fans are going crazy, and I remember thinking to myself, tomorrow night it'll be someone else. And I always had that in the back of my mind.
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah. Wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así de gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damian, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
vaughantienda.com. It's the shit.
That's right, folks. If you don't have my latest book, this book is the shit. What are you waiting for, folks? I've got so many awesome books, and you can pick them up all at Von Tienda or wherever fine books are sold. All right, let's get a nice round of applause for all the participation. Great job, great job. A lot of people here on board this morning. So we've got our Say What soundbite. Let's check our pop quiz because we already saw Jesus gave us 2 of them, but we're looking for all 3. Let's see if anybody got all 3 of them and really hit it home. The first one to participate after Jesus is Born to Iron Man. And Born to Iron Man says, despite the drought in the southeast of Spain, the misuse of the water is crystal clear. Despite. Now, wait a second. Jesus said, in spite of. Is that right, too? That's right. You can say despite or in spite of, but not despite of. O sea, olvídate de despite of. Táchalo. No, escribe despite of y tacha love. Y escribe in spite of y es así. So what do I recommend? Just use despite. Y te quitas la tontería del of o sin of, right? Solo despite. It's up to you, though. So, in spite of or despite the drought. What if I use a verb? Because that's a noun. Eso es sustantivo. A pesar de la sequía. Despite the fact that there was a drought. ¿Ves? Ahí tienes que decir the fact. So, that's just so you know, if we're putting a verb in there, despite the fact that it was raining, in spite of the fact, lo bueno, la estructura es igual. Lo único es, tienes que acordarte, despite or in spite of, but no mixes. So great job, Born to Iron Man. Let's see your second example. In spite of several actions in Africa, there's a terrible famine. Very good. Jesus used the word starvation. Starvation, yeah, there's starvation, but una hambruna is a famine. Y es interesante porque tiene la palabra mine, pero es min. Dilo conmigo. O sea, se escribe famine, pero se dice famine. Famine. Okay? Let's see. The last one. Despite the fact of the gigantic landslide. But then there would have to be a verb. Remember, when we use the fact, es porque vamos a usar verbo. Si no, usamos directamente. So, vamos con 2 ejemplos, okay? Despite the rain, in spite of the rain, sustantivo. Despite the fact that it was raining, in spite of the fact that it was raining. So, the fact cuando es verbo. Okay, cuando es sustantivo, no hace falta the fact, right? You just go right to the sustantivo. So, despite the fact of the, so ahí diría, despite the fact there was, right? Despite the fact that there was a gigantic landslide, or despite the, te quitas todo the fact of, menos palabras, menos sílabas, despite the gigantic landslide, there weren't any personal damage. The only thing, there wasn't, because damages, plural, right? There weren't any damages. There wasn't any damage. All right, just a couple tweaks. Unos ajustes ahí. Born to Iron Man. I know you will take note. And he says, good morning, Show with No Namers. Good morning to you too, Born to Iron Man. As always, it's a pleasure to have you on board, learning and laughing with us, amigo. There she is, Chris Valrol, bringing some magic. In fact, I got when Laura sent me her her question of the week. She sent it to me, and she said that she was going to be away a couple days. I don't remember which days they were. So you guys, you're going to have to pull the extra weight, right? You guys are going to have to help us out in our Say What soundbite and the sections. Well, I think Laura's really good at most of the sections. So we will miss Laura the days that she's not here. but you guys have to pick up the slack. Right, eso lo vimos, to pick up the slack, hacer lo que sobra, ¿no? Lo restante, ¿no? You guys got to make up for her because, whoa, she's a wonderful student. And I know you guys will do that. So Chris says, morning show with no namers. Morning to you, Chris. She says, despite the drought, the plants are beautiful in this neck of the woods. In this neck of the woods, in esta zona. Really, really native expression there. So despite the drought. Excellent. The word is drought. And, ¿qué si le ponemos verbo? A pesar de el hecho de que había una tal. Despite the fact that there was a drought, right? Despite the fact that it didn't rain for 6 months, right? Pero como no hay the fact, vamos directamente a drought. Despite the drought, the plants are beautiful in this neck of the woods. Excellent job. And the next one, she says, despite the famine, the Irish moved forward. Based on a true story. Great one, Chris. Right? And the last one, in spite of the landslide, we went to our hut. Excellent. Chris, what you showed me there is that you can use both of them. Because you use despite and in spite of. So, reviewing. Despite or in spite of. No mixing. If we put a noun, we can go right to it. Despite the rain. Now, the moment we say que estuviera lloviendo, despite the fact that it was raining. So, ¿qué es lo más fácil? Pues usarlo con sustantivo. Pero no siempre tenemos esa opción. All right, and as I told you guys before, to win by a landslide, right? To win by a landslide is ganar por goleada. To win by a landslide, which, by the way, there's an FYI episode on natural disasters, if you haven't heard it. And as always, I mean, we use them as euphemisms as well, right? Let's take a look at some before we move on. We'll just take a look at some of the most common ones, especially the ones I've heard mispronounced. ¿Cómo se dice terremoto? Vamos a ver si lo pronunciáis bien. Es que lo he oído 1000 veces pronunciado mal. Terremoto, earthquake. No earth, right? Earth. Quiero que imagines la palabra earth sin la A. Ahora dilo. Earth. Ahora ya no. Es como heart sin la E. Ahora me sale. Porque no está la E ahí o otro vocal confundiéndome. I've heard hearthquake, I've heard a lot of different ones. Earthquake. And the world starts shaking. The earth was quaking. My mind was aching. And we were making it. And you shook me all night long. The world starts shaking. The earth was quaking. My mind was aching. Me dolía la cabeza. And we were making it. And you shook me all night long. There you go. There's a euphemism, as we just said. An earthquake. Then you've got one that I know you'll pronounce. Well, let's see. ¿Cómo se dice tornado? Did you say tornado or tornado? It's tornado, right? So just be careful. Spelled the same, but it's pronounced differently, right? Tornado. Drought, we already said. Sequía. Flood, no flood. Se pronuncia como blood, right? Flood. Ciclón. Cyclone. Bastante fácil. De hecho, hay muchas montañas rusas. The most famous one in the United States, in Coney Island, New York, is called the Cyclone. Let's see. Wildfire. That's easy, right? Fuegos incontrolables, right? I mean, that happens a lot in California. They get a lot of wildfires. Well, they have droughts, and then everything gets really dry, and people are camping, and you know the rest, right? Landslide, we just looked at, and the double meaning. What about ola de calor? Heat wave. Igual. Igualito. We're in the middle of a heat wave, all right? And then you've got storms, thunderstorms, snowstorms, hailstorms, right? I hope you never have to use this vocabulary. Hailstorms. How do you say hail? Granizo, right? So the good thing, if you take the word storm, electrical storm, pues es tormenta, with thunder, lightning. The way you love me is frightening. You better knock on wood, baby. As you know, we can learn a lot from music, because there we don't just learn thunder and lightning, but we learn the expression knock on wood. Knock on wood, toca madera. Now just be careful though, the British, you know what they say? They say it exactly like you. They say touch wood. We say knock on wood, y luego te das en la cabeza. I think that's pretty much a universal thing. Maybe not. Maybe not. Later, you'll be surprised. Like, you know how in Spanish, when you guys say that there are a lot of people somewhere, how do you do that gesture? El gesto, hay muchísima gente, está petado. You do your fingers, right? You put your fingers up and you move them around like, woof. Is that right? You do these like waving things with your fingers. That in English means nothing at all. In absoluto. That's a Spanish thing. Okay, tengo sed. Okay, maybe that one. Tengo que mear. You grab your... All those are pretty universal, but not that one. The estaba abarrotado, right? Abarrotado. I never know how to say that one. It was crowded. It was packed. Or what about the other one you do when you take your hand and then you hit it with your other hand and it means let's go, right? In Spanish, not in English. I guarantee, try it. Try it next time you go to England or the United States. Try and get a friend to leave, an English person to leave someplace, just giving them that gesture. Yep. We don't use it. We don't use it. So, all right, let's see. We've got a couple more people participating here in our group. Born to Iron Man says AC/DC in the house. No doubt about it. Gotta love AC/DC. Chris Valrol talking about today's, what were we talking about, Chris? Today's Say What soundbite. That's it. She says, I heard the sweet voice of a woman who used to be an actress and a singer, I guess. She talks about her experience on stage with people and faming. Sorry, I couldn't understand. Well, she does say something about fame, but she doesn't say faming. And she says something that has to do with fame and going crazy or famine. All right, I can give you a clue here, Chris. It has nothing to do with famines. It has a lot to do with fame. Fame! I'm gonna live forever. Light up the sky like a bird. Fame! I'm really coming together. People remember my name. Remember, fame. All right, I promise, guys, I'm done singing. Well, just for now. I might sing a little bit later on in the show. But before we go to our next commercial break, let's check out today's homophones.
Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It is homophones only on the show with no name. And here's where we look at words that tend to be a bit confusing when it comes down to pronouncing them. So what I do is I take two words, we put them together, and we explore them. We see if they sound the same or not. The first word is a creature from folklore. Okay, a winged creature. And it's also a very popular dish soap in Spain, right? A very popular dish soap in Spain. I wonder which one it is. The most popular one, right? It's not lagarto. by the way. It's not lizard. So that's the word. Also, it's an offensive way of calling somebody who is a gay man, a homosexual man. So if you say this word, if you say "ada" to a homosexual man, well, you're being offensive to that person. So it's got a double meaning there. I don't recommend you ever offend anybody. I don't care what their orientation is, right? It's good to know the offensive words just so you avoid them, but I don't ever recommend using them. So it's a mythical creature. You say "hada" in Spanish, and it's used in cuento de hada as well. And the second word is transbordador. So it is a passenger boat. You got them going to the Balearic Islands, for example, from Valencia, from, I believe they're from Denia. You can take one of these. You say it in English too, pero para no decir la palabra en inglés o en Spanglish, como lo decís, it's transbordador. Un barco que transporte gente. También puede transportar coches. Right? We've seen that as well. There are a few that leave from Almeria that go to Marruecos, to Morocco and all that. It's also the verb. So transportar. So I love it when that happens, when we can verbify something. All right, amigos, we are going to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back where we're going to take a look at this and so much more. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to part 3 of today's show with no name. I hope you guys are having fun. I hope you're learning. I hope you're laughing. And I hope you're coming to our trivia night. Well, trivia night / 16th anniversary of the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. 16 years. We had a party for the 10th anniversary, but then the last 5 or 6 years, I've kind of been busy. You know with what, right? My daughter? So I don't really organize. Well, if I organize parties, usually they're children's parties. Yeah. Well, my daughter, just this Tuesday, we celebrated her last birthday party. Well, her last of turning 5. As her uncle said, she must be 29 by now with all the birthday parties she's had. So yeah, we had one with the nursery school friends, one with the current friends, one with the family. Jeez Louise. I'm a little partied out. So I didn't have a 15th one because it slipped my mind. Life, you know. But I'd love to celebrate 16 years of the show with no name with Show with No Namers, with my friends on Vaughn Radio, who are also going to be there having fun, laughing and learning with us as we drink some beers, play some trivia, and celebrate the fact that we can all be together. And if I forget, remind me to take like a group picture where everybody's in it. So this way we can share it with the people who aren't able to make it. All right, let's kick off the second half of the show with our Say What soundbite. Here is the third listen.
I see people getting totally carried away with their fame, and it's fleeting. And I remember being on stage, the fans are going crazy, and I remember thinking to myself, tomorrow night it'll be someone else. And I always had that in the back of my mind.
¿Conoces Weekend Town? la nueva iniciativa de Vaughan?
Pues no.
Es un fin de semana de inmersión en inglés y es nuevísimo.
A ver, cuéntame más.
Tendrás una inmersión lingüística total durante 2 días. Un total de 24 horas hablando con angloparlantes de todo el mundo.
¡Wow! ¡Qué interesante!
Ganarás confianza y soltura a la hora de comunicarte en inglés. Mejorarás tu comprensión auditiva y tus habilidades conversacionales en una situación de comunicación real en inglés. Ven a Weekend Town y te sorprenderás con todo lo que puede avanzar tu inglés en un fin de semana. Weekend Town de Vaughan. Un fin de semana de inmersión en inglés. More information about Weekend Town, you can go to grupovon.com/cursos destacados. Also, if you're following us on social media, you can find out about all our deals, what's going on, and all that jazz. You can be in the know, enterado. And also, remember, we've got a newsletter. So if you want to receive English content in your inbox every week, make sure you sign up for our newsletter. All right. Homophones time. Let's take a look. Let's see what we've got over here for our homophone section. The first person to participate is Born to Iron Man. And he says the correct words, and he says they sound alike. Chris Valrol says they're homophones as well. She says, I'd say, diría yo. Well, you know how we sort this one out, como lo solucionamos. Real easy. I just say it, and then you tell me. You'll know in an instant. The first word, ferry. The second word, ferry. Ferry. Okay, voy a decir, hay un hada en el ferry, you say. There's a ferry on the ferry. There's a ferry on the ferry. Do they sound the same? Absolutely. Now, here's one of those tricky ones. It's also not a homophone for some people. So what does that mean? Well, let me give you an example. In American English, we wouldn't say, I don't want the first option, I want the latter. We wouldn't say the latter, aunque es con T. No, es como later, pero con 2 T's. La segunda opción, ¿no? So I don't want that one, I want the latter option. En inglés americano, esa palabra L-A-T-T-E-R suena igual que L-A-D-D-E-R, que es escalera. Pero en inglés británico, no. I want the latter ladder, right? So for them, they distinguish, but again, depends where you're from. Now, this is, I looked it up. Now, for me, they're homophones, because I would never say fairy, like extended. Because if I just said the word fair, yeah, it's a longer one. But once I put the Y, it's fairy, right? You shorten it. But technically, I mean, according to Collins Dictionary, ready? Fairy, 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 fairy. O sea, it's a lot. So according to them, the ferry, el barco, es una E más corta. Okay, but I can tell you something. Most Americans, they don't say ferry, they say ferry. So they've shortened it. So that's one where it didn't matter. You couldn't be wrong. You couldn't be right, because they are homophones to some, to most. I think everybody I know would say ferry, ferry. Which one did I just say? Ready? I'm going to choose one. Ferry. I just said hada, but it sounds the same as ferry, because I didn't say ferry, ferry. So what they're saying is that the real pronunciations would be ferry, but I don't think anybody stops and thinks, I've got to extend this, because it's hard to extend it, that vowel sound. Although Collins Dictionary says, yeah, well, we don't care what Collins Dictionary says. Collins can take their dictionary and stick it up there, yeah, as Limp Bizkit says, stick it up your yeah, stick it up your yeah. So, yes and no, right? Ferry, ferry. I say it as a short E, and I think everybody I know says it as a short E as well. And remember, the first one, that word, just be careful, because it does have a double meaning. And as we said as well, it's a verb, the second one. So the ferry ferried people over to the island. No, transportó. It's the same as shuttle. We looked at that word too. Lanzadera. The shuttle shuttled people to the university. See, again, it's an example of where it can be a verb and a noun. I love that about English because, well, it makes things a little bit easier when we can verbify them. All right, are you guys ready for our spelling bee? Well, then let's go.
Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee.
All right, amigos, it is time for our spelling bee here on the show with no name. And as always, this is going to be challenging. Well, hey, guys, that's what it is. Like homophones, yay or nay, 50-50 there. You know, you can get it right, you can get it wrong, you know. Say what sound bites, your opinion. Okay, you might make a mistake when you're expressing yourself, but your opinion can't be wrong, right? Maybe I disagree with you, maybe I don't. Maybe it's wrong as far, well, he's not really British, but it's your thoughts. It's not really wrong, right? Okay, might be inaccurate, right? But it's not wrong. It's what you perceived from it. So you can't really get that wrong. You might, oh, well, I thought it was Scottish, but it's really an Irish. That's a technicality there, right? But this one, it's all or nothing, baby. It's sink or swim. It's do or die. All right. Calm down, Albert. Anyways, in round one, I don't give a damn if you get it. Not my problem. I'm going to be that guy, okay? Desafortunadamente, that guy exists. And he's the one when you go to Hacienda or you go to Seguridad Social, whatever, and he's like, and you're like, if you don't like your job, quit. I'm not making you do this. You're making you do this. There are many other jobs out there. You're not qualified. That's a different story. All right, so here we go, folks. These are your 6 words. As you know, they're more than 6 words. Let us capitalize the first word, the first letter. I always mix that one up. I don't know why I can't say that sentence. Let's capitalize the first letter of every word. Here we go. The first one is STANISLAV space PETROV. The next one is COLD space WAR. The next one is EARLY space WARNING space SYSTEM. The fourth one is INTER CONTINENTAL. Whoa, it's a long word. Space BALLIS TIC space MISSILE. The next one is MUTUAL space ASSURED space DESTRUCTION. Told you they were long. And the last one is FALSE space ALARM.
Do you know about Vaughn groups? Well, I'm going to tell you all about them. They are group English classes that you can do via video conference or in person. And the good news is you can start whenever you want. And you can keep the same timetable, teacher, and classmates throughout the whole course. And the best part, there's no strings attached. Sin compromiso. And if you act now, you can get a 5% discount for paying up front. And if you stick with the course for 6 months, you'll get a 50% discount in June.
Wow, what a deal! As if you needed more reasons to learn English with Vaughn. Check out our Vaughn groups. Have fun and make friends as you learn English. Sign up now while there are still spots available. Call us 911-385831, or you can go to our website, grupovaughn.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media and find out if Vaughn groups are for you. That's right, amigos, Vaughn groups. You can find out more at grupovaughn.com/cursos destacados, where you can find out about Vaughn groups. You can find out about masters, one-to-one flex, Disney Vaughn English. That's on weekends for the kids. We've got something for everybody. And if you're into self-study, well, then all you have to do is go to our bookshop. It's vaughntienda.com. Also, if you live in Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, Vigo, Valladolid, Valencia, Santander, or Zaragoza, stop in. We would love to meet you and get to know you as a person and obviously as an English learner. So stop by. You do not need an appointment. We'd love to meet you. Okay, you might have to wait 5 minutes or so, but you don't need an appointment. And you can even ask about getting a free level test. And this way you can get a little assessment, a little evaluation of your current level. All right, let's see over here. It looks like Born to Iron Man has risen to the challenge here. Let's see if he's got it. Do you guys bet on him? I will. I bet on this guy. He's solid. All right, let's see. The first one is correct, Born to Iron Man. The second one is also correct. The third one's correct. The fourth one is also, that's a tough one. That fourth one was endless. Excellent job, dude. The fifth one is also correct. And the sixth one, you nailed it, dude. I don't know how you do it, honestly. I don't know how you do it. It is mind-blowing, dude. I'm telling you, one day we've got to reverse roles. You spell me some words, and I guarantee I won't get them on the first go. So again, dude, like, I can't go any faster without making mistakes and, getting tongue-tied. So kudos to you, my amigo. And now we're going to do round two. This is where we'll slow down a little bit, but not too much, because I'm not in the business of babying my students, poniéndoselo fácil tampoco, because the real world, people don't speak this slowly and clearly in the real world, right? And we know that. Anybody who's traveled knows that's not the real English you're hearing out there. People speak a mile a minute. They get tongue-tied like me when I'm speaking, right? Okay, here's round two. The first word is STANISLAV space PETROV. The second one is COLD space WAR. The next one, EARLY space WARNING space SYSTEM. The fourth one, INTERCONINENTAL space, that's the longest word, BALLISTIC space MISSILE. The fifth one, MUTUAL space ASSURED space DESTRUCTION. And the last one is FALSE space ALARM. All right, we've got another winner here in the house as well. Chris Valrol. Look at those super show with no namers. Excellent job. Born to Iron Man and Chris, you are in the big leagues. Jugáis en primera. There's no doubt in my mind. All right, well, let's take a look at these words and what they had in common. The first word was Stanislav Petrov, right? Stanislav Petrov. And do you recognize that name? No, not a basketball player. No. He was a Soviet, when the former Soviet Union existed. He was a Soviet Air Force officer, okay? Oficial de las Fuerzas Aéreas de Unión Soviética. And today, in 1983, this Air Force officer, the Soviet Air Force officer, Stanislav Petrov, identified a report of an incoming nuclear missile. Now, you've got two ways to say this: outgoing, incoming. You get what I'm saying here? Incoming es que entra. Outgoing es que se va. Makes sense. Also, the word outgoing is extrovertido. Oh, there's definitely a joke somewhere in there. It was an outgoing missile. He got along with everybody. Era un misil que se iba, ¿no? No venía. Hey, I don't know if that joke exists, but there it is. Why did everybody like the missile? Because he was outgoing. Well, this is not outgoing. This is incoming. So imagine. Incoming. Aquí viene el nuclear. I didn't say missile. I said nuclear missile. Okay, now we're talking serious here. And he identified this report of this missile as a computer error because it looked like the United States was attacking the Soviet Union with a nuclear attack. And he went into the system and he said, wait a second, there's an error here. This is a computer error. This is not, they have not launched a nuclear missile at us. Trust me, guys, calm down, slow down. Don't start launching missiles yet. I think there's a mistake. And because this guy was reluctant to start a nuclear war, thank you, Stanislav Petrov, by the way, for not being a warmonger, because I know there were some people like, okay, we got to bomb them, hit the button. They wouldn't even check. And this guy said, no, something's not right here. Something is not right. I don't think we're getting the readings correctly. And so he went to his higher-ups, los que tienes encima de ti, and he said, guys, we're not being attacked. It's a false alarm. It's a false alarm. Do not retaliate, okay? Because then we're going to get what is number 5 in our spelling bee, mad. No es que nos vamos a enfadar. Que to get mad es enfadarse, but mad is also mutual assured destruction. You know what that means? Bye-bye, everyone, okay? That means you're gone, she's gone, her grandmother's gone, your grandmother's gone, everybody's gone, okay? So it's mutual assured destruction. And thank God this guy wasn't trigger happy. Trigger happy. Te gusta disparar. No, estás listo para siempre disparar, ¿no? And it can be echar broncas, no solo disparar un arma, ¿no? So thank you, Stanislav Petrov, for being level-headed. Level-headed. Comedido, I think you say. Me lo estoy inventando esta palabra. No en inglés, digo en español. I know it in English. Equilibrado, yeah. Somebody who thinks, doesn't just do. You just think, comedido. Did I make that up? Yeah, me suena de algún sitio. And this was in the height, okay, el apogeo, the height of the Cold War. Right? Tensions were running high between the United States and the former Soviet Union. And the third word was early warning system. So this guy got the information from one of their early warning systems that detects incoming missiles. And the kind of missile it was an intercontinental ballistic missile. Now, you say misil, we say missile. So similar, but it's pronounced a little bit different. Missile. And the word ballistic, it's the study of bullets and things, right? But also we use it in an expression. We say if somebody goes ballistic, they go crazy. They get really angry. They lose their mind, right? What happened when you told them that you crashed his car? ¿Qué pasó cuando le dijiste que chocaste su coche? He went ballistic. He lost his temper, okay? He went ballistic, okay? So just one to know, okay? Just in case you didn't know it, ballistic. It's used more that way, unless you're in the military, of course, then you use it in the literal sense. But most of the time, we use it as to go crazy, to lose your mind with anger, to have a temper tantrum, and to get carried away. ¿Te sabes esta? To get carried away. Se me fue la pinza. I got carried away. Se me llevó el viento. Now, that can be in two things. It can be a negative thing or a positive thing. Man, that was a weird reaction. You really got carried away. No, se te fue la pinza. But also it can mean like, I was having so much fun playing the video game, I got carried away and I missed the bus. No, se me fue. Like I lost control of my mind, which happens to me pretty often. The fifth one, as we said, was mutual. Vamos a pronunciar esa palabra porque yo sé en español es parecida, mutuo, but we say mutual. La U es you y la T es ch, mutual. Mutual assured destruction. And we use that one a lot of times when someone says, nice to meet you. It's mutual. It's mutual. It's mutual. And the last one, a false alarm. And thank God that this was just a false alarm and that this guy used his head. He was level-headed, con medido. Now I'm convinced. ¿Me lo estoy inventando aquí o no? Con medido. I really feel that this is a word here. Comedido, prudente. Yeah, moderado. Yeah, comedido. I think I added an N. Comedido. It means you think about things. You don't just do them. We do say the word prudent, by the way. Si quieres, eso es un regalo. Porque prudente, prudent. Aha. Reminds me of a Beatles song. Dear Prudence. Really good song. But guys, it's not time to sing. It's time to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we've got Double Trouble. We've got Name That Movie. We've got famous birthdays. Name that lyric. We'll also listen to our Say What soundbite for the fourth and final time. All that and much more when we come back. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back. It's time for part 4 of today's show with no name here on Vaughn Radio. Oh, yeah. I can't believe it, folks. We are in the 4th and final part of today's show. And as you know, we are having tons of fun, as we always do, here on the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. You know it. Tons of fun. And right after today's show, you can learn English with my great friend, Jimena Holiday. Yeah, she's awesome. And she'll be here to teach you English and to put your English to the test. With Nacho. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So many great programs. And also, guys, as far as I know, Jimena and Nacho are gonna be at the trivia night on October 2nd. That's next week. October 2nd. So many amazing friends of mine. So many friends who are co-workers. So many friends who are students. All right. We've got so much to do, amigos. So we're going to kick off with our double trouble. Yeah.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
All right, my amigos. Let's take a look at today's double trouble over here, and we'll see if you guys can figure it out. Oh, wait, did I say double trouble? I'm sorry. I mean triple trouble. Don't worry, you'll be able to handle it. Okay, coge tu equipo barra ropa. Puede ser las dos cosas, ¿eh? Coge tu equipo barra ropa. Okay, equipo, si estás haciendo snowboarding. If you're snowboarding, tu equipo is your snowboard, your, everything you wear, everything you take out there, your goggles, right? If you're a scuba diver, pues es todo el equipo. That's what I mean by equipo, okay? Lo que tú llevas para hacer una cosa. So, coge tu equipo, pero también significa ropa, okay? Tenemos que prepararnos para la jornada adelante. Y eso me saca de quicio. ¿Ok? Triple trouble. If I'm not mistaken, we looked at this one pretty recently. I'm pretty sure we have. Maybe I'm wrong here. All right? So, let me give it to you again. Coge tu equipo, tu ropa, puede ser las dos cosas. Tenemos que prepararnos para la jornada adelante. Y eso me saca de quicio. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, me irrita, me molesta, right? Let's see if you know today's triple trouble. Also, let me give you the Say What soundbite. I don't think anybody's gotten it yet. Here it is for the fourth time.
I see people getting totally carried away with their fame, and it's fleeting. And I remember being on stage, the fans are going crazy, and I remember thinking to myself, tomorrow night it'll be someone else. And I always had that in the back of my mind.
¿Te gustaría abrir puertas a nuevas oportunidades y estar listo para cualquier desafío? Con el máster de inglés del Grupo Vaughan podrás transformar tu futuro. Este programa intensivo te ayudará a dominar el inglés profesional, perfeccionar tu comunicación y ganar la confianza que necesitas para conseguir tus objetivos. Nuestros profesores Vaughan especializados te prepararán para afrontar en inglés todas las situaciones de comunicación en un entorno profesional. No dejes que el inglés sea una barrera. Invierte en tu futuro con el máster de inglés profesional del Grupo Vaughan. Llámanos al 91-133-5833 o entra en grupovaughan.com. That's right, grupovaughn.com. If you want to know what's going on, you can go to Cursos Destacados and you can get all the information you need on our upcoming events, courses, and all that jazz. All right. Well, right now, it looks like nobody has gotten our triple trouble, huh? So it is causing some trouble here among our show with no-namers. All right, I don't want to give it to you yet because I have a feeling you're really creative people.
I've got to say, you're really creative people, and you shouldn't have a problem with this one, especially because I think we looked at me pone de los nervios, me saca de quicio. I used to say me saca de equicio, and now I know it's me saca de quicio. But you can understand why, right? De quicio, porque aún es la de. Entonces, de mi vida, anteriormente, yo pensaba que era equicio. See? It's what happens when you hear something before you see it written. Right? You're like, what is it? Oh, it's quicio. Oh, I had no idea. Right? So, coge tu equipo, el equipo que necesitas de deporte, de un deportista, de un montaña. You know, if you're a mountain climber, tu equipo, the things, your ropes, all the stuff you need to carry out the activity. Also, it's a slang term for clothes. If I say, me gusta tu ropa, me gusta tu forma de vestir, te puedo decir, nice, I like your, okay? So, coge tu equipo, tu ropa, que tenemos que prepararnos para la jornada adelante. Y eso me saca de quicio, not equicio. Hey, live and learn, guys. Live and learn. You're learning my language. I'm learning yours. That's I think, one of the reasons we all understand what the other one's going through. Part of the reason I understand what my students are feeling is because I've been there. I'm there. I've been learning Spanish my whole life. So I know the ins and outs of learning languages, and I try and, relate to you guys with them as well. So triple trouble, going once, going twice. All right, well, I'll tell you what, let's go to the movies. And if you can't figure it out by the end of the movie section, I'll give it to you. Name that movie. That's right, amigos. It is time for Name That Movie. Let's see if you guys can figure it out. Now, I've got to say something. If you know these movies, I say these because there are several, you'll know it the moment you hear the name. An Augmented Human and Sarah Connor. Ya lo sabes. Si eres fan, ya lo sabes. An Augmented Human. Ahora, hay varias películas. An augmented human and Sarah Connor must stop an advanced liquid killer, voy a cambiar la palabra, destroyer, porque si no es el título, from hunting down a young girl whose fate is critical to the human race. All right, so an augmented human and Sarah Connor, hola, Sarah Connor, must stop an advanced liquid killer, yo voy a decir killer, pero es otra palabra, from hunting down. To hunt down is ir detrás de cazar, no acechar. From hunting down a young girl whose fate, destino, whose fate, you can say destiny too, pero fate es una sílaba parado con tres. Entonces nos quedamos con fate. Whose fate is critical to the human race. All right, let's see over here. Born to Iron Man says, is it Terminator? Yes and no. So it is Terminator, but not the first one. All right, well, I'll give it to both of you. Chris got it perfectly. It's Terminator Dark Fate. That's right. And this is technically the direct sequel to the first, to Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, Judgment Day, right? And why? Well, Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines, and Terminator Salvation and Genesis, James Cameron, he didn't work on those. He's like, that was not my area. Those don't even count. Él ni cuenta esos. He's like, those, he said, this is what he says of those movies. He goes, it's a bad dream or an alternate timeline, which is permissible in a multiverse. So he's saying, yeah, I guess so, but it's not my story. Like you're given a multiverse like they do with Star Wars now. You know, they're so far away from the original characters. I'm like, who are these people again? Right? What are these towns, these planets, you know? So I get it. They want to make more money, make more characters, make more series, but Okay, I like Star Wars, but I'm not willing to learn their whole history there, and not that much. I like Terminator, but not that much. I'm not going to learn every little every little minute detail. No, pequeño, minute. Se escribe igual que minute, pero se pronuncia minute y es enano, muy, muy pequeño. So excellent job. It's Terminator Dark Fate. Chris is also taking a stab. Chris is also taking a stab at today's Triple Trouble. Let's see how you did, Chris. She says, grab your gear. Correct. Gear es tu equipo. So si haces un deporte, el equipo que usas para eso. No team, ese equipo como las cosas que usas. Your gear. Also, we use it for clothes. Man, you always wear some nice gear. Es una forma jerga de decir tu equipo, tu vestimenta, ¿no? Tu ropa. So, the first part, so far, so good. Grab your gear. We have to prepare for the day ahead. That grinds my gears. Well, Chris, you got a double trouble. But what if I were to tell you that to gear up for something is to prepare? Piénsalo, estás poniéndole. Gear up. We're gearing up for the big event. To gear up es prepararse. Piénsalo. Also, it means subir de marcha, right? But to gear up is vestirnos, preparar. Think of it that way, okay? We're gearing up. So let's put on our gear and gear up. Prepararnos. It says to get ready. And also, it doesn't only have to be physically, right? Oh, we've got a big campaign, so we're gearing up for it. Preparándonos mentalmente también. Have you heard this one? To gear up for something. Well, you already know it grinds my gears, right? Me hace... No, ese sonido que cuando cambias de marcha no es buena. That's to grind gears, literally. But if something grinds your gears, it pisses you off. It ticks you off, right? And also, what else was I going to say? So yeah, you know the other one too. Gear, Chris, you got it. So we were just missing to gear up for something. And to gear up is to prepare. So excellent effort, Chris. The translation is grab your gear. We have to gear up for the day ahead, and that grinds my gears. There you go, folks. Our Triple Trouble. Let's take a look at the scene from the movie Terminator Dark Fate. Sarah Connor says, it's like a giant strobe light. Now, you know what a strobe light is? Estas luces de la discoteca que pulsan, blanco y negro. It makes people look like they're moving in slow motion. That's called a strobe light or a strobe effect. So it's like a giant strobe light. Strobe se escribe. Burning right through my eyes, penetrando mis ojos. Somehow, I can still see. Sigo viendo. Children look like burnt paper. Los niños parecen papel quemado. Black, not moving, sin moverse. And then the blast wave hits them. We said wave, ola de calor, pues de la explosión, the wave, la onda, la ola. Then the blast wave hits them. No, les da the mushroom cloud, the blast. And then they fly apart like leaves, como hojas. And then Dr. Silberman says, dreams of the end of the world are very common. O sea, sueños que tienen que ver con el fin del mundo son muy comunes. And then Sarah says, it's not a dream, you moron. Moron es una de mis palabras favoritas. I know it's a base militar, morón. But moron is idiota. And I just love the way it sounds, moron. My daughter likes the word too, by the way. She heard me say it. She goes, Daddy, what's moron? I'm like, oops. I'm like, it's like idiot, moron. She goes, okay. And I love how she says it like me, moron. Idiota. It's not a dream, you moron. It's real. Real. I know the date it happens. Hasta sé la fecha que ocurre. And the doctor's belittling her, condescendiendo un poco. Well, I'm sure it feels very real to you. Seguro que para ti se siente real, verdadero. And Sarah Connor says, on August 29th, 1997, not 77, 1997, it's going to feel pretty fucking real to you too. Anybody not wearing 2 million sunblock, cualquier persona que no lleva protectante solar 2 millón SPF, right? SFP o como se dice. 2 million sunblock is going to have a bad day. Lo va a pasar mal, tener un mal día. Get it? ¿Me captas, me pillas? God, you think you're safe and alive. Tú crees que estás a salvo y vivo. You're already dead. Ya estás muerto. Everybody, him, you're dead already. This whole place, everything you see is gone. You're the one living in a fucking dream. Tú eres el que estás viviendo en un puto sueño. Because I know it happened. It happened. There you go, folks. And we all know what happens after that. Oh, man. All right, it's Terminator Dark Fate. And as always, we love learning from music and movies. But right now, it's time for Famous Birthday Trivia. That's right, amigos. It's famous birthdays here on the show with no name. Number one, our first birthday boy was born today in 1945. He is an English singer-songwriter, cantautor, o sea, con guión, singer-songwriter. His last name means el barquito que te lleva a Ibiza o a tu coche, a Marruecos. Those. Yeah, that's his last name. We looked at that word and how to pronounce it in our homophones section. So, an English singer-songwriter who was the front man or the lead singer of the group Roxy Music. He's also worked with David Bowie, and even David Bowie said that he was one of his influences, which is pretty awesome. When David Bowie says you influenced him, that's pretty awesome. And some of the songs you might recognize: Slave to Love, Esclavo al Amor, Don't Stop the Dance, and many others. The group is Roxy Music, and he is the lead singer. Second famous birthday, Terminator 2, Sarah Connor. Well, Terminator 1, 2, and Dark Fate. She wasn't in the other ones, by the way. So there are only 3 that were directed by James Cameron. Right? That's Terminator, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, which I think was the best one. I mean, the soundtrack, You Could Be Mine, Guns N' Roses. I mean, come on, that was awesome. And then Dark Fate from 2019. So she is a kick-ass heroine. Yeah, heroina, we say, a female hero. And she's been in many other movies as well, but man, she will always be Sarah Kick-Ass Connor in my book. And last but not least, she's the one that you want, baby. Ooh, ooh, ooh. She's the one that you want. She's the one that you want. Of course you want her. She's beautiful. Even now in her older age. Well, now she's dead. Oops, no, I don't know. Now she's definitely not beautiful. But she was in great shape, man. You saw interviews with her from just, a few years ago, and she was still beautiful, and she seemed like, she had her bearings, que todavía tenía la cabeza y todo. All right, let's see. We've got a winner. Give it up for Chris Valrol. Number 1, Brian Ferry. Brian Ferry. Number 2, Linda Hamilton. And number 3, Olivia Newton-John. That's right. She's the one that we want. Born to Iron Man. Great job to you, too. And that's going to bring us to our Say What soundbite now. This was Olivia Newton-John with her Australian accent. It's not a strong, thick Australian accent, but it's a good one. It is a good one. And she says, I see people getting totally carried away. Os intenté ayudar. Remember I said to get carried away? Es que lo he dicho porque estaban en esto. So, I see people getting totally carried away with their fame. Se les va la pinza con su fama. So, I see people getting totally carried away with their fame. It's fleeting. Es ephemeral, right? It's fleeting. I remember being on stage. The fans were going crazy. And I remember thinking to myself, tomorrow night, it'll be someone else. Mañana estará otra persona en este escenario. No mañana como si fuera el año que viene. And I always had that in the back of my mind. Y siempre tuve eso presente. So here she is, birthday girl, Olivia Newton-John.
I see people getting totally carried away with their fame, and it's fleeting. And I remember being on stage, the fans were going crazy, and I remember thinking to myself, tomorrow night it'll be someone else. And I always had that in the back of my mind.
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is... No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's Name That Lyric, only on the show with no name. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to all of you who participated today and every day, whether you're participating live or you're listening later on and you're participating from your bed, from the comfort of your home, from the gym. There's no wrong place to learn English. So awesome stuff, my amigos. Excellent stuff. I couldn't be prouder. You did a wonderful job today, as you always do. Remember, tomorrow we've got question of the week. So I look forward to hearing from you as well. We'll already be hearing from about 6 or 7 students. But if you'd like to participate, tell us your favorite corner, your favorite nook of your home, and why. And we'll hear from you tomorrow. And today's song is Brian Ferry, Let's Stick Together. You know, stick around, right? You need to know that one. Stick around is no te muevas. Stay where you are, right? But let's stick together. It's vamos a hacer piña. Let's stick together, right? Stick es pegarse. So if you think of the idea behind the word, right? Sticky, pegajoso, right? So let's stick together. And this song is about marriage. Va sobre casarse. There aren't many songs. Well, you got some. Go into the chapel and we're gonna get married. Well, this one is Let's Stick Together by Brian Ferry. Google the lyrics and we can sing along as we say goodbye. It starts out with, and now the marriage vow is very sacred. The vow is la promesa, right? When you say, I vow to protect you and ba, 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 ba. And now the marriage vow is very sacred. The man has put us together now. You ought to make it stick together. You ought to is debería. You probably know it from another song. You ought to know. Deberías saber. All right, folks, thank you so much for being here for another exciting, interactive English extravaganza. We'll be back with more tomorrow. I promise. Ciao for now.